The woman who did this will live in his mind forever. Not because she was perfect, not because she gave him everything he ever wanted, but because she did something rare. She saw him. Not the image he projected, not the armor he wore, not the role he played, but him. As he was, as he is, beneath it all. And when a man is truly seen, truly recognized, not for his strength, not for his usefulness, but for his being, something ancient stirs in him. Something wordless. It is not love, at least not the way we speak of love in our loud, hurried world. It is something quieter, older, closer to reverence. He may not even understand it. Not at first. Perhaps not ever. But she will live in his mind, forever. There are moments in a man's life that he does not speak of. Not because he is hiding them, but because they cannot be explained. A glance, a silence, a hand placed gently on his back during a time of doubt. He remembers not the words she said, but how her presence felt in a room full of noise. He remembers how she didn't need to fill the air with explanations. She let things be. She let him be. And that kind of silence, that kind of patience, is unforgettable. You see, most people are performing. Most people are waiting to be heard, to be admired, to be told they are enough. But she had already returned to herself. She had already made peace with her own reflection. She was no longer seeking a home in anyone else. And that is why she became unforgettable. She did not enter his life to complete it. She did not try to fix him. She did not beg for love. She simply was. And in her being, in her quiet presence, she reminded him of something he had long forgotten. That peace is not found in conquest. That love is not found in control, but in stillness. He will try to move on. Of course he will. Life demands motion. There are responsibilities, obligations, distractions. But late at night, when the house is still, when the phone is silent and the world no longer needs him, he will think of her. Not with regret, not even with longing, but with a kind of aching gratitude. Because in her, he saw the path back to himself. And even if he could never walk that path with her, even if life pulled them in separate directions, the memory remains, like the smell of rain on dry earth. Like a candle once lit, still flickering in the dark corners of his memory. A woman like that cannot be forgotten, because she never tried to be remembered. She didn't chase. She didn't plead. She didn't force. She knew that what is real does not require grasping. She knew that all things come and go, and those meant to stay will stay. So she let him go. Not as an act of drama, not as punishment, but as a gesture of love. She understood what most do not. That sometimes, the greatest act of love is release. And so, she remains. Not in his arms, but in his soul. Not in photographs, but in moments. In the quiet ones. The soft ones. The ones he doesn't speak of, even to his closest friends. When he is older, when the world has had its way with him, when his hands are slower and his eyes no longer search the room, she will still be there. Not as a fantasy, not as a what if, but as a reminder of what was true, of what is eternal. We are all, in the end, returning, not to people, not to places, but to ourselves. And she was part of his return, even if just for a moment, even if just in silence. She held up a mirror and he saw. Not who he thought he was. Not who the world told him to be. But the boy. The man. The soul. There is no tragedy in this. No heartbreak. Only the soft ache of life. A life that gives and takes. That joins and separates. And in between, the grace of having known someone who needed nothing and gave everything without ever asking. She will live in his mind forever, not because she demanded a place, but because she became a part of the silence inside him, the silence he runs from, the silence he returns to, the silence where truth lives. And there she remains, not as noise, not as memory, but as presence, as stillness, as the woman who did nothing loud, and in doing so, did everything.